Hello, this is Heidi Meyers, immigration attorney, and today we're going to talk about the war in Ukraine and immigration status and visas. So for Ukrainians who were physically present in the United States already as of March 1st, 2022, you are eligible to apply for temporary protected status. So you can apply for temporary protected status for an 18-month period, and you can also get work authorization. So you need to make both applications. Temporary protected status, however, is only for individuals who are already physically present in the United States. So if you are Ukrainian and you were abroad on March 1st, 2022, you do not qualify. So even if you came to the United States after that, you don't qualify for temporary protected status because you haven't been continuously physically present in the U.S. since March 1st. So this was a big misconception. Apparently, there was some kind of scam going on where people, Ukrainians abroad, were told that they could apply for TPS, but this is not the case. Only those in the United States can apply for TPS. Now, another issue is if, say, you are from Ukraine or Russia and you are trying to come to the United States, it might not be a good idea to apply for a B visa or any other visa that requires showing that your intention in coming to the United States is only temporary. Now, of course, you can always apply for a visa. If it gets denied, you can later on apply for another type of visa. But certain visas and statuses require a temporary intention. So, for example, the B1, visitor for business, the B2, tourist, the F1, student, the M1, vocational student, the J1 exchange visitor, scholar, intern. All these require showing that your intention in coming to the United States is only temporary, that you're not going to stay here permanently and you're going to go back to your home country at the end of your stay. Now, if you're coming from Ukraine, that might be very hard to show. And also, if you are coming from Russia, that also might be hard to show if you have some reason that you fear returning to your home country. So, yes, you can try to apply for these temporary non-immigrant visas, but the chances are you're probably going to get denied. All right. Now, the other thing is, if you are trying, suppose you already have a visa, and you are trying to enter into the United States, you have to be very careful. Apparently, CBP, Customs and Border Protection, were denying entry to crewmen or seafarers who have valid C1D visas. So they had valid visas as crew members. They should have been allowed to enter the United States. But again, this type of status requires a temporary intention that you're not going to stay here, you're not going to overstay. And CBP apparently has been denying seamen from Ukraine and Russia entry into the United States. Now, until we get some sort of policy from the Biden administration, these tragic, sad instances will continue happening and people will continue getting turned away, even though if they go back to their home country, likely they could get killed. Now, the other aspect is that you have to keep in mind, if you come to the border and you say you want to apply for asylum, you say, I'm afraid I'll get killed if I go back to my home country, I'm afraid I'll be persecuted, you could be put into detention, to have a credible fear interview. So again, there's a risk of detention if you say, yes, I'd like to apply for asylum, I fear persecution. So I'm just saying, that there are risks involved. I'm not saying it's always going to go badly. A lot also depends on the individual CBP officer you get, the individual consular officer. But you have to be aware that there are risks, and it's a good idea to speak with a competent immigration lawyer before you try to apply for a visa or enter the United States. Now, for Ukrainians who are getting processed for their immigrant visa, suppose you're the spouse, parent, minor child of a U.S. citizen, or suppose you're the husband or wife of a permanent resident, child of a permanent resident, your immigrant visas would be processed through either Warsaw in Poland or Frankfurt in Germany. So those are the two U.S. embassies assigned right now to handle immigrant visa applications for Ukrainians. Ukrainians are now considered stateless by the State Department, and in terms of non-immigrant visas, temporary visas, you can apply for a visa in wherever your location is. So if you happen to be in Austria, or you happen to be in Spain or Italy, then you can apply to the U.S. consulate in that country where you are located for your non-immigrant visa. All right, now the other aspect is if you are European, even if you are not Ukrainian or Russian, you need to keep in mind that the U.S. consulates and embassies abroad are totally overwhelmed. So if you're already here in the United States and you don't really need to travel and you don't have a valid visa and you would need a visa to come back, it might be better to just stay here and sit tight. Because your problem is going to be that the U.S. consulates and embassies abroad were already overwhelmed. They already have a staff shortage. So during the Trump administration, Trump did not hire foreign service officers. So there was already a shortage. We already did not have enough employees working at the U.S. consulates and embassies abroad. Then with COVID, most of the personnel was called back to the United States. They were left with a skeleton crew, each consulate and embassy, and now they are restaffing, but they are totally overwhelmed already. And now with all these additional applications for visas from Ukrainians and possibly Russians, they're totally swamped. So it will be very difficult to get an appointment for a visa, and you might have to wait for a long time to get an appointment. So it's likely not a good idea to travel abroad right now if you don't absolutely have to and you don't already have a valid visa, even if you are not from Ukraine or Russia. Now, the other story was that aside from Europe, a lot of Russians are going to Turkey. So again, if a lot of Russians are flooding into Turkey and applying for visas to come to the United States there, then you might expect wait times for a visa, non-immigrant visa, or an immigrant visa to get longer and longer if you are a Turkish citizen, or you are a third country national who lives there, or you are traveling there to try to apply for a visa. So as I said, right now there's no special program here in the United States for Ukrainian citizens or for Russians, aside from temporary protected status, which only includes those Ukrainians who are already physically present as of March 1st, 2022. And one more thing I would like to add is many people are desperate. They're in absolutely desperate circumstances. But even if you are in a desperate situation, be very careful. It's very easy to be taken advantage of by notarios, fixers, agents, all these people that make big promises, happy to take your money, and then you end up with nothing. And also there's been a lot of reports of human trafficking of young women. So you must be very careful who you deal with. If you are interested in immigrating to the United States, you should speak with a competent immigration attorney. This is Heidi Meyers, Law Office of Heidi J. Meyers, 11 Broadway, Suite 925, New York, New York, 10004. Our number is 212-791-4007 or 646-508-5225. And our email is heidimeyerslaw@gmail.com. You can see in the comments down below our contact information. All right, thank you very much, and don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and take care, and may God bless you.